Okay, welcome to the second week of Communication Arts. And today we want to take a look at a couple of things on PowerDirector. I want you to watch this Let's Get Started video. You'd click right there where it says video. Again, we're in the Communication Arts Lessons Plan page. And this is week 2, Monday week 2 of the second week of school. And let's go ahead and take a look at this video on Let's Get Started. Okay, on your desktops, you should have a PowerDirector icon, and it looks very similar to this right here. You can actually take a look at this little section here. That's your PowerDirector icon. Double click on that, and that will open up PowerDirector. Okay, PowerDirector is going to go ahead and open up. There's the icon for it opening up. You can see right here that PowerDirector defaults and loads some pictures in here that are actually in the library that come in there. Now you don't have to use these pictures. I'm going to use these pictures for part of the demonstration here that I have, but you don't have to keep these pictures in here. If you want to get rid of the pictures before you bring anything into your storyboard, you just click on each one, and you can do Control as you do each one, and you can notice that each one's highlighted here, and then you just right click on them and you can remove them from the library. That's actually how you remove something from the library, or remove something from the storyboard. If I drag something down to the storyboard right here and I don't want it down there, I want to get rid of it, you right click on it and you can remove it from the storyboard. Okay, well, let's take a look at, just real quick, at just a couple of the bells and whistles here of PowerDirector. First of all, it's easy to manipulate the screen for the way that you want it. Down here, this area down here, we're actually going to call this timeline area. This is also called the timeline view. If you'll notice right over here in the far left-hand corner, right next to this magician's hat, you'll see that there's 3 little tabs. The first tab right here, this one is the timeline view. The second tab right here is the storyboard view, and then here is to make an additional track for audio and video. And these little lanes right here, we're going to call tracks. So each track has a video area and a sound area. And each one, if you don't want the video or the sound to be shown, you unclick that box right there. It has to be checked in order for it to play inside the storyboard. And then you can actually lock each lane if you'd like to of the storyboard, or just keep them unlocked unless you're doing something special project. If you'll go over here to this side and you can scroll down, and here are some of the other areas. Now it actually comes and defaults with 2 video and audio lanes, and then down here is a title lane where you can put your titles, and right here is a microphone lane where you can put your microphone voiceover recordings, and then right here is a music lane that you can put your music in. So these are the different lanes that you have, so to speak, in your storyboard. And what you do is you just drop down into the storyboard different pictures. Anything that has a JPEG, JPG at the end of it right there, that is going to be a picture. And then anything that has a MPG is going to be a video. And so you can see that this video here actually has some sound with it. The JPEG pictures don't have sound. This video does have some sound. And so it has the soundtrack and the video track. Both of them are put in there. Okay, now let's take a look at just a couple of areas here that are in PowerDirector. Now you can resize these 3 different main areas. Here's your storyboard area. Here's your preview area right here, where you can preview the video. You can resize that just by simply finding these double arrows here and left clicking on them and dragging them over. You can drag them to where you want to if you want the preview area to be bigger. If you want your library area to be bigger, you can drag the storyboard down, or if you want your storyboard area to be bigger, you can actually do that. And then you can actually move your tracks up and down just a little bit to kind of condense it. You see how I'm kind of left clicking on that and I'm moving my storyboard areas down just a little bit. Anytime that you see the double area, the program is allowing you to move it so that you can condense the space and use it the way that you want to. I like to kind of keep my video area fairly large so that I can kind of see how the movie is playing back. This right here, like I said, is your library area, and all of these pictures right here can be removed, or you can add right here. Let's go ahead and go around Power Director, go around the clock here, and we can kind of see some of the different areas and bells and whistles in Power Director. First of all, up here in the File menu, if you'll left click on that, it drops down a menu of some of the different things that you can open. A new project, a new workspace, open a project that you used to have. You can save the projects, export and import, capture different areas, edit the area, and then have your project properties right here. Also in the edit view right here, you can cut, paste, remove. Same thing that you can do in a lot of the other programs that you do. Undo and redo is also popular. You can also Control Z in your PC actually undo what you have just done, and that's kind of a helpful tool when you're working with Power Director and you're working with video and audio. If you kind of make a mistake, I don't like it like that, after you see it, just hit the Control Z and that will undo something that you've already done. Cut and paste and remove are all in there. And then here's part of the drop down menu is the Preferences tab. You can actually open up the Preferences tab and it will show you some of the different things that you have on there. Just kind of leave it in the default settings, and that's probably the best for our level of general application for that. And then also you can view areas and rooms that Power Director has. Most of the time we're actually going to go to the timeline view that we have in our open, and we'll drop things down into our tracks. And then here's our playback mode and things like that. You can actually play it back. The second bar down right here is where we can capture different video, and your computer will automatically try to detect devices. You might have a webcam put in there, and here's some of the different things that the computer has assessed that are actually in there. This is capture from an external or optical device. Here's to capture from a CD, to capture from a microphone, to capture from a webcam. All of these are different capture modes that they have. But you'll be working first of all in the edit mode, and then when you want to get done and you want to produce the video, let's say you have to drop something into your timeline track, then you can actually produce the video and save it, and I'll show you how to do that in a different tutorial. So let's go ahead now and take a look at some of the other things that here. Let's take a look at this left hand column. Anytime that you mouse over one of these different icons, it'll actually tell you in a little pop-up box what is that icon. So let's take a look at the first bottom one. This is where you'll actually do a voice-over recording. This is the voice-over recording room, as you saw right there in the pop-up. And if your microphone is working, you'll actually be able to see the green line levels going up and down. You can increase the level if you want to. I like to leave it at about 50% because that's about the way that it actually works well for me. Here's some of the different devices that you can see in the preferences. Click on those tabs and kind of play around with them when you're getting ready to do a voiceover. Here's where you can add music, and you can actually take the music, the voiceover, and drop or lower or raise the music, the different audio that you have. Really nice feature that Power Director has. In this next feature right here, this is actually the transition room, where you can actually take and put different transitions in between the pictures or between the different videos that you have. Really nice feature. You're going to be using that a lot. Here's the title room, where you can actually have and load different titles. When you drop those down into the storyboard, you can actually see, and you'll be able to edit and modify these titles, and that's one of the first things that you're going to be doing, because you'll be adding a lot of different titles and captions in your camera angles video that you'll be producing. That's the first project that we've got going on here in digital media. So you can do that. And then here is a particle room, where it actually has different particles that drop into and over. If I drop this down into the timeline, you can actually see, and I push play, it'll play my title, and then it drops in different particles. Another one that they have is the picture-in-picture. The PIP actually means picture-in-picture. So if you drop that down into the storyboard, you can see that this picture-in-picture, and I push play, it will actually make a palm tree appear. Slowly and resolutely a palm tree will appear, and that's what the picture is. Sometimes that's a nice effect if you're doing a slideshow. Other ones that they have right here, here's the effects room, and here you can do some of the different effects for a video. Drop those into the menu, and then now you've got the effects working as well as the palm tree trying to make itself, and you can see some of the different effects. Some of them are really cool. If you can see some of them as they go right here, just play around and take a look at some of those, because you will be using some of these different effects. Here's an old movie effect that they have. Actually works really well. You can kind of click on them and see what they do, and they'll actually play in the video previewer. Here's a pencil sketch. Actually looks really nice. We'll do some of these. Here's one that I like. It's actually called Chinese painting, and it actually works really well. If you're trying to black and white something, and actually makes it look like a little cartoonish. Another one is an edge. Actually fades and goes back and forth. Really nice little effects that they have in the effect room. And then the very top one right here, this is the media room. This is where you'll actually have different things in your media room. You can actually bring in more and import more files, and this is how you do it. You click on this folder, you import files right here, import media files. And so what you'll be able to do is click on this folder, and then you can import your media files from your folders, from your desktop folder that you've already saved. And you'll be able to do that. You've probably got some of these renamed. They might just be a number, and so you can actually do that, and you can import these from the folders that you've saved on your desktop into, and you just click on them, and they actually import. Now I'm going to go ahead and import this particular one, cell phone jokes, and I'm going to bring it down into the timeline right here. And here is just a little video that I've got of Jimmy Kimmel doing some jokes. Now if I actually take this video and I go to my transition room, I can actually put a transition in front of this particular storyboard. If I want to put this, and now I've got a transition right next to it, and now I can bring in and in between those, and now we can transition from the palm tree to the Jimmy Kimmel video. Let's take a look at that. So here's the palm tree being built, and then it's going to transition into the Jimmy Kimmel video. Do you see the transition, how it digital transition, the different cubes came in and were made. So that's kind of the way you do some of those things. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I'm just going to remove some of these things from the library, right click on them and remove them, and it does that. And you'll notice over here in the bottom left section from your timeline, if you'll mouse over these here's Magic Movie Wizard, which will magically create an edited movie blend. I don't use that a whole lot, but when you go up here to your library room and then you drag in, say for example, a picture, notice that several more icons come up here. Here is a Magic Fix icon, here's a Magic Motion icon, and then also a Magic Style. You will be using Magic Motion a few times in redirecting the viewer from one place to another. And so that's kind of getting started right here in Power Director. Now what I want you to do is I want you just to kind of play around with this just a little bit. Bring some of the pictures down into the timeline, kind of bring them together, and then take a look at some of the different areas. Start your scrubber. This little blue line right here, as it kind of goes back and forth, this is called your scrubber. And so I'll be telling you that from time to time, is to move your scrubber from one place to the other, and you can do that. And then if you take your scrubber and you left click and you hold it down, it actually moves your scrubber over these different pictures that you have. You can actually come up there to your viewer and push the play button, and it'll actually play the video. Every 5 seconds a new picture is going to change that you've dropped into your timeline. And that's kind of the way you do that. You could actually take that and produce it now and make a movie of these 3 pictures. But the first project that we've got is we're going to make a movie of the different camera angles that you've taken. And so what I want you to do is you can actually take and remove these other pictures from your library, because sometimes it just gets kind of confusing. I'm holding down on the control key and I'm highlighting each one of these as I click, and then I can actually take these and remove these from the library. And I did the same thing right there. I held down and now I'm removing them from the library. And what you're going to want to do is open up to your folders, and you're going to want to import some of the different videos that you've saved. So again, just go to the file, import these into the library. I'm going to pick 3 of them that aren't very large in size. Yours won't be very large in size. Here I got those 3. I'm going to open those up. It'll take maybe just a minute to import those into the library. And these are videos that I've already edited, already worked with, already there for Mr. Cap's videos for the classroom. So go ahead and load those up into your video library and start working those. You might have to kind of take a look at it. What you do is you click on them right there, and you can preview them exactly what they are in your viewfinder. You can kind of preview. You can see that it's working right here. It's got a little 8-second intro right here for videos in the classroom, and then it'll actually start the video. If this is the video that you want of your different camera angles, you can actually use that. That's the one that I want. I'm going to drop that down into the timeline and move it all the way over to the left hand side, and now this one is ready for editing. You've got your different camera angles. You can see that it actually puts up a little preview box of what every 10 seconds or so of the video, this is what's in that picture. And so you can see it actually gives you a little preview of what might be in each one of those. As you click and move your scrubber up and down, you can actually see some of those different ones. And you'll be dividing this up into your different camera angles. Okay, thanks for watching. Let's get started with Power Director in Mr. Cap's digital media class.
Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started.